You are playing safe, like really safe. No risky buttons, no unnecessary attacks, no whiffs. Your opponent walks forward, you backdash. They move forward again, you block, you wait. They just keep coming whilst you just keep backing up, and then suddenly your back touches the wall. You are now losing on health. 30 seconds have disappeared and you are now thinking, I didn't even do anything wrong. Exactly, you didn't do anything wrong, but you also didn't make your opponent solve anything. Sometimes you don't lose because you made too many mistakes. Sometimes you actually lose because you are so afraid of making one that you stop playing to win. Welcome back to How Winners Think. We have talked a lot about patience in this series. Don't force the match. Don't chase every interaction. Don't press simply because you are uncomfortable. Those are important lessons, but there is another side to patience. Taken too far, patience becomes passivity, and they can look almost identical. Both players might be waiting, both might appear calm, but one is waiting with purpose. The other is waiting because they are afraid to make the wrong decision. Today, we are talking about why playing too safe can actually make you easier to beat, why your opponent needs problems to solve, and how great players know when it's time to stop observing and start asking questions. There is an easy mistake to make when improving at Tekken. You learn when playing Tekken that reckless decisions are dangerous, so what you do is you remove them. Good. You stop throwing out random launchers. You stop pressing into obvious traps. You become more patient, which is also good. But eventually you can become so focused on avoiding a bad decision that you stop making meaningful decisions altogether. That's where safety becomes a trap, because avoiding mistakes is only half of competitive play. You also have to create opportunities. If your entire strategy is I'll wait until they mess up, what happens when they don't? Here is the distinction. You see, patience says, I'm waiting because I don't need to act yet, whilst passivity says, I'm waiting because I'm scared my action might be wrong. Those might look identical on screen, but mentally they are completely different. The player is patient whilst being still engaged. They are watching, positioning, thinking, preparing, and when the opportunity appears, that is when they act. But the passivity player keeps waiting, even when action is required, because waiting feels safer than being responsible for what happens next. That's not discipline. That is fear wearing discipline's clothes. Think about the hardest players that you have fought in the game of Tekken. They are constantly making you actually have to think. Not necessarily because they are constantly attacking. Well, some characters are, such as Dragunov and Brian, but because they are constantly presenting questions. Will they approach? Will they stop? Low, mid, throw, sidestep, wait? That causes pressure. So now imagine fighting someone who actually just gives you nothing. They just back away, they block, they never challenge your comfort. Eventually you will stop worrying. You get to run your own game plan, and that's the problem. Strong Tekken isn't only about solving problems, it's actually about creating them. Your opponent should have to make decisions also. Here is where initiative becomes valuable within this game, and it's very important. You don't always have to act because you know something will work. Sometimes you act because you want to know how they will respond. So examples would be walk forward, then see what happens within that decision. They backdash, well, that's good because that's giving you information. Jab, do they challenge? Good information. Throw, can they break it? Information. Show them a low. Do they start docking? That's information. Every controlled action asks your opponent a question, and their response thus teaches you something about them and their own decision making. If you spend the entire round waiting for them to reveal themselves, you might never get enough information. Sometimes you need to give them a reason to just reveal themselves and what they are thinking within the game of options for them to choose. This is important. I'm not telling you to start throwing random launchers. We are not abandoning patience. We are just refining it. Every competitive decision contains some level of uncertainty. You cannot wait until you're 100% certain before acting. Sometimes you need to take a calculated risk. The difference is intention. Recklessness says, I hope this works. Controlled risk says, I'm doing this for a reason. Maybe you are testing their defense. Maybe you are conditioning them. Maybe you are taking space. Or maybe you are just gathering information. Great players aren't fearless about making mistakes. They are simply just willing to make decisions without demanding certainty first. During your next ranked session, pay attention to moments where you have been waiting for a long time. Then I want you to ask yourself a question/statement. Am I gathering information or avoiding responsibility? If you are genuinely observing something, then keep watching. But if you are waiting because you are afraid to commit, ask one small question. Nothing crazy. Walk forward. Jab. Low. Throw. Movement. Give your opponent something that they have to respond to. Then watch them carefully, because their response might give you the information that you are waiting for or looking for the right moment to now strike at them. Patience is powerful, but patience without purpose can become an excuse. An excuse not to commit, not to take risks, not to make decisions, not to be wrong. And if you are so focused on never being wrong, eventually your opponent gets to play without being challenged. That is not control. That is surrendering initiative. The strongest competitors can actually just do both. They can wait when waiting is correct and act when action is required. They don't force the match, but they don't disappear from it either. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this: patience waits with purpose. Passivity waits because it's afraid. And when you need information, don't wait for your opponent to reveal themselves. Give them a reason to. The next time you catch yourself backing away, blocking, walking, waiting, ask yourself, what exactly am I doing this for? If you have an answer, great, stay patient. But if you don't, maybe it's time to stop waiting for your opponent to make the first mistake and start giving them problems to solve. This has been How Winners Think. Until next time, don't confuse doing nothing wrong with doing everything right. Think first.